Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Sugiyama speaking on behalf of the Arizona Buddhist Temple. I want to thank you for listening to us on the internet and by watching our videos. I'd like to begin my talk with a reading from a quote by Reverend Toshikazu Arai. He wrote the English translation of the Tanisho. And so he wrote, "It is important to keep listening to the Buddhist teachings, the Dharma, throughout our lives. Otherwise, our understanding of the Dharma becomes stagnant and we may develop a self-complacent faith. Constant listening enables us to receive new insights into the teaching, just as a shower keeps pouring water on us to cleanse us from dirt." Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Again, I want to thank you all for listening. It's always very important for us to listen to the Buddhist teachings. And so one of the concepts that we try to teach at the temple is Shinjin, to attain the entrusting heart and mind in the Amida Buddha. So Amida Buddha, he made this vow, this promise, that all of us who say his name, Namo Amida Butsu, and when we say it in sincerity and gratitude, we are assured of our birth in the Pure Land. So in the Pure Land, when we pass away, we leave the world of impermanence and we enter into the world of light. We enter into the world of enlightenment, of constant peace and bliss. And so this is the meaning of to listen and to say Namo Amida Butsu, is to have Amida Buddha in our heart and in our mind, and to have gratitude in his promise. And so in my opening reading, I talk about this constant listening and constant reading and constant learning of the Buddhist teachings. And so it's always a good practice for all of us to read the English translations that we have on Buddhism. And so through listening of Dharma talks, I hope that all of us were guided on this path to Amida Buddhist Pure Land together. And so, especially for myself, I have had many good teachers throughout my life in understanding the Buddhist teachings. And so I want to tell you about this one particular person and his Dharma teacher. And so the story goes that there was once this farmer, and his name was Genza. And so he lived in a very small village in Japan. And he was famous throughout Japan as being a devout follower of the Shin Buddhist teachings. And so he was always listening to the Dharma messages given by his teacher, his reverend at his temple in Japan. And so on Genza's farm, he grew vegetables and he had horses. And so every few days, Genza, he would take his horse and they would walk into the mountains to cut and gather grass. So one day, as he was cutting and gathering grass, he tied it into these bundles and he decided to carry it on his back. And so as Genza was walking with the stacks of grass on his back, and as he was leading his horse, he started to grow very tired because the stacks of grass were too heavy. And so he decided to put the stacks onto the horse's back. So once he did this, Genza realized something very profound. He discovered that the grass he gathered was something like his own selfish desires, his own ignorance and stupidity. It all became like this heavy bundle, and this bundle got him into trouble. And so it became too heavy for him to keep on his back. And so it was necessary to have this strong horse to help him. So Genza realized that the horse was just like the Amida Buddha, that the Amida Buddha was willing to carry any burden that Genza had. So Genza, his selfish ego, his greed, and his desires became too heavy of a burden for him to carry. So through his understanding of the Buddhist teachings, Genza realized that he could not attain enlightenment, he could not become a Buddha through his own efforts. But it was more important for Genza to rely on Amida Buddha's promise, on Amida Buddha's vow, to say Namo Amida Butsu, for him to become an enlightened person. So to say Namo Amida Butsu, this was the easier practice to go through. And so this shows that the Amida Buddha, he made this promise to always be there to relieve our heavy karmic burden that makes us suffer. And so, for this reason, to sincerely entrust ourselves to the Amida Buddha assures us of our birth in the Pure Land. And so this became Genza's correct understanding of what the meaning of Shinjin means for all of us. And so Genza's horse helped him to understand the true meaning of the entrusting heart and mind of the Amida Buddha for all of us. And so this horse became Genza's Dharma teacher. And so for myself, I never had a horse as my Dharma teacher, but I am very fortunate that throughout my life, I have always had good teachers to listen to. So not only I learned Buddhism from my father, but I also listened to my many great teachers that I had in my studies at the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley, California. And not only them, but I also had great teachers in people like Reverend Gibbs from Pasadena, Von Dagnan Sensei, Michael Tang Sensei, all the Dharma school teachers that we have at the temple, and even the members of the Arizona Buddhist Temple, they have helped me to learn and to understand the Buddhist teachings much better. And so, Toshikazu Arai, he talked about this constant listening of the Buddhist teachings. And so it is like this warm shower. And that I hope that all of us are spiritually refreshed in hearing and understanding the Buddhist teachings. And so for me, when I hear the Buddhist teachings, it helps me to reflect upon my own life And so when I listen to other ministers and their viewpoints, that helps me in my growth in understanding this Shinjin, this entrusting to the Amida Buddha. And so in deepening my faith, in deepening my understanding, I hope that for myself and for all of you, you become much better in your practice in understanding the Buddhist teachings. And so I know that at this time, the Arizona Buddhist Temple is closed. But I hope that you are able to find some spiritual peace in listening to our Dharma messages at the Arizona Buddhist Temple, and that you're able to find other messages through the internet, through the YouTube channel. There is the Center for Buddhist Education that you can type in YouTube and to listen to other Buddhist messages. And that you're able to listen to other temples like Orange County, like the Tri-State Buddhist Temple in Denver, Colorado, or in Oregon and the temples in San Francisco. All the ministers are giving their messages online through the internet. And so this becomes a great resource for all of us to have a better understanding of the Buddhist teachings. So in closing, I want to thank you for listening. I hope all of you are continuing to be safe and healthy. And I hope that one day we will all be able to meet together soon at the Arizona Buddhist Temple. So in closing, please listen to the words written by Reverend Toshikazu Arai. It is important to keep listening to the Buddhist teachings throughout our lives. Otherwise, our understanding of the Dharma becomes stagnant and we may develop a self-complacent faith. To constantly listen enables us to receive new insights into the teaching, just like a shower keeps pouring fresh water on us to cleanse us from dirt. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you again for listening.